Out of 1,000 rapes, 310 are reported to the police. 57 of those reports lead to arrest. 11 cases will get referred to the prosecutors. 7 of those will lead to a felony conviction. And out of those original 1,000 rapes, only 6 will result in jail time for the rapist. Only 6 out of 1,000. When I, Anna LaCroix, a middle schooler, saw these horrifying statistics, I thought to myself, how? How could this be? How could this happen? How come almost everyone is quiet? Then I thought, what could we do? We students, we administrators, we community members, we Americans. We could change our laws, but most importantly, we could change our teachings so that no one is terrified of what could happen. According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, rape is an expensive crime. It costs the government $127 billion each year in judicial cases, making it the most expensive crime the government pursues. Rape crimes are followed by assault crimes, which come in at $93 billion each year in judicial cases. The government has been trying to limit sexual assault through creating laws against rape, sexual assault, and harassment. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 explains that harassment is unwelcome in any region. The Clery Act requires that federally funded colleges report the percentages of sexual assault in annual periods. Finally, the Teach Safe Relationships Act requires that schools who teach sex ed must also teach about sexual assault prevention. These 3 acts are a step in the right direction. However, in order to eliminate the number of sexual assaults and rapes demanding judicial intervention, more steps need to be taken, not just through laws, but through education. I'm not talking about the type of education we receive today, but a change in education, and that change should begin in middle school. Colleges and universities have model programs that middle and secondary schools can modify for their health classes. These programs consist of 20-to-1, the women's program, the men's program, a call to men, bringing in the bystander, green dot, and many more. I think the 20-to-1 program holds key lessons that can be adapted for younger populations. It's a 3-tier program that focuses on victim empathy, consent, and bystander intervention. There's a lecture component to this model that educates those participating on statistics and raises awareness about the realities of sexual violence. In addition to the lecture, there are also many interactive activities to discuss consent and bystander intervention. If we can modify this program so that it has a smaller lecture component to keep middle school students more attentive, we could change how middle and high schoolers feel and think about sexual assault. I remember last year in 7th grade health, our class had to watch an outdated video called Just Yell Fire. The message it contained said to yell fire if someone tries to attack you. Is that really what you do when you're in a dangerous situation? Yell fire? What if no one is around you? How does this really help? It's in the health curriculum to teach about sexual assault and self-defense in 7th and 8th grade health classes. But it seems as if the school is too scared to talk about the subject. Instead of engaging us in meaningful discussions, schools like to show a simplistic video that doesn't really prompt us to share or learn. We cannot be scared to talk and educate, because if we are, then it will seem as if we are just letting perpetrators free of their terrible crime. Think of one of Roy Moore's teen accusers, the former 14-year-old LaCroix who sat in silence for 2 decades. What if she had been properly taught on how to speak up and who to speak up to? Or even Roy Moore himself. What if he'd been properly educated on the dangers of sexual assault and what consent really is? We cannot change our past, but we can change our future. How exactly do we change our future? Take those most successful programs from colleges and universities and modify them to fit their particular school's curriculum. Schools may feel that students at 12 years old shouldn't be learning about these things, but we can't wait for college or even high school to fully learn about sexual assault. It's not a crime that pays attention to your age. The majority of child rape victims are between the ages of 12 to 17. About 42% of female rape victims were first raped before the age of 18. So why are we still waiting until after the fact to fully educate this younger population on the harms of sexual assault and what no truly means? K-12 schools are required to maintain a safe and healthy environment that fosters growth and learning. What it appears is that they're not giving clear guidelines on how to educate students on possible preventions of sexual assault and provide help to those who are affected. They seem uncertain as to how to do what is required by the government. Sexual assault affects a student's performance in school, which can affect his or her future. They do not know what to do or what is going to happen next. The resulting trauma of sexual assault can follow a young person for years, not just in college or in grades, but in their relationships and emotional stability. Some of you may be thinking that if we use these programs from colleges and universities to inspire new programs at middle and high schools, that could decrease the school's money that they need to use on other things that the school requires. Okay, but remember that $127 billion each year we spend on prosecuting rape? What if we use that money to educate instead of litigate? We start in middle school. In 7th grade, schools should go more into depth than they already do on sexual assault prevention and consent using modified college programs along the way. In the student's 8th grade health class, the curriculum should explain more on sexual assault to include safe relationships and who the student should speak up to if they know of a situation, also using modified college programs such as 20-to-1. When the students enter high school, the health teachers should use modified programs such as the women's program and the men's program to help illustrate even more on how we can prevent sexual assault and ways to interfere as a bystander. Through the students' college years, colleges should either keep using the programs they're using if they are backed up with successful data, or change their programs so that their sexual assault rates are decreasing each year. Yes, it's a lot of work, but isn't it more important to do whatever can be done to prevent sexual assault from happening? According to RAINN statistics, every 98 seconds an American is sexually assaulted, and every 8 minutes a child is. I'm not going to count for 98 seconds or 8 minutes, but during the course of my talk, about 6 Americans have been sexually assaulted, and of those 6 Americans, 1 is a child. If we change our approach to teach about sexual assault prevention starting in middle school, we can change our future for the better. Imagine a world where Harvey Weinstein was making headlines for his movies, instead of being accused by 57 women who claim that he assaulted, harassed, or raped them. Where Charlie Rose is still someone people look up to, rather than despised after hearing that he harassed a woman. Or what if the former 14-year-old Anthony Rapp, a victim of Kevin Spacey, didn't have to spend the last 32 years in silence? Together, let's stop imagining a safer world for children and adults. Let's make that world a reality. Thank you.